Monday, February 3rd, 2025. And the Orange Felon has kicked off a trade war with our two closest allies here in North America um, by adding 25% tariffs to most goods from Mexico and Canada. He also added tariffs to China. Um, he rescinded the tariffs, put a pause on the tariffs to Mexico for a month because the Mexican president said she'd send 10,000 Mexican troops to the U.S. border. Um, and then Canada said, hey, fuck you. We are going to match those tariffs right back at you, which is going to make um, a lot of things more expensive for us here. We get a lot of lumber from Canada. We get a lot of energy from Canada, oil, petroleum. I think they are a big source of uranium. Um, it's and I mean they have the ability if they just want to say, you know what, we're not even going to provide any more of this stuff to you, to kind of fuck us up. So I don't see that they're going to negotiate back down that hard. Um, the Canadians are grocery stores are uh, marking where products in the aisles that are Canadian made um, and owned. So, to help steer buyers to Canadian made products, there's a huge push to like, let's just buy Canadian, let's just stick to our own products. Liquor stores have started pulling American products just off their shelves. They're just not even offering to sell them anymore. Um, the they're already circulating amongst themselves. If you usually buy this brand, here are the alternate brands you can look for. They're like, big F you. We're your closest friend, and you want to treat us like this. So if that's the way you want to play it, we'll play it that way. And I think that they have the ability to kind of do some damage. And I don't know that they're going to be as easily strong armed as Mexico seems to have been, for at least for the month. I don't know what Trump is trying to get out of Canada by doing this. His big blustery sort of bloviating reason is just that we've been ripped off, and we I really don't know how. We have a lot of trade between our countries that does a lot of great commerce for both sides. So I don't really understand how we're getting ripped off. Um, and these idiots that voted for him. I think it was Sarah Haynes who said the people who are going to hurt the most are a lot of the people that voted for Trump. Um, and quite frankly, they deserve it. I don't know that they will ascribe any of that to him or fault him for any blame, um, because they're so far deep in the cult. But we'll see. Um, I don't, who knows how this is going to play out. But it seems like from the outset, Canada's like, fine, let's play it this way and see how it goes. Um, and you know, at this point, it's like I don't even want to support American products. Like, what are we doing? It's so stupid. It's just a needless antagonizing of um, wonderful allies and partners. And Justin Trudeau gave a great speech, and it talked really about we shouldn't be um, we shouldn't be antagonizing each other. We should be working together in tandem, uh, and that we should. And they're looking at, well, now how do we strengthen our border against Americans? Um, so I think Canada's not interested in falling on the sword and saying, "Oh, sure, we'll just be the 51st state." Um, it has a lot of ability to sustain itself. So I don't know that this tactic is going to work with them. So we'll see. I mean, I could be entirely wrong, and everything could fold in a couple of days. But um, my bigger concern is that Elon Musk and some like kids, like 19 to 21-year-old programmers, just sort of forced their way into the U.S. aid offices, which has access to the U.S. Treasury, to look at spending foreign aid grants, Medicaid, Social Security, all the things that that government funds, well, disperses funds for, um, and have just sort of taken over their systems, and it's a little frightening. I went to Social Security Administration this weekend, and I downloaded my Social Security statement so that I have a record of how much I've contributed up until now, what my expected payout is to be, based on those calculations, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. It's just that's a little scary to me. And the fact that they just were allowed to. There was no law enforcement that stopped them. There was no elected officials who stopped them. Um, they just seem to be running roughshod. That to me, that's a coup. That's there. Elon is not an elected official. Um, the Department of Government Efficiency apparently became a part of um, the the other watchdog group that already exists. So it actually, I guess, is um, part of the administration, but uh, it doesn't seem like he should have ability to just force his way into our payment systems, and have the ability to just willy-nilly say, "I don't think we should be paying for that," because he's a cost cutter, much to the detriment of how anything will run. Um, so I don't know. That to me that's a more egregious problem than this trade war that will probably eventually work itself out. Um, if I don't know, somehow. Um, but yeah, I got lost in a moment. Anyway, uh, and I feel like, some of this trade war stuff and all this, the diversity hire bullshit, is all part of the smoke so that we're not paying attention to the fact that Elon Musk just took over the payment process from the US Treasury. That's it's a little, that's a lot alarming. Um, and nobody seems to be talking about it. Again, I feel like the Democrats need to be on every airwave, every medium, every possible uh, channel platform, and talking about the criminality of the Democrats, of the Republicans, um, and they should be doing something to stop it. They should be filing lawsuits. They should be using the power of the legislature. There are options. There's, what are all those things for? How did Mitch McConnell in the minority prevent everything from happening? Stonewall tactics. Like, get fucking serious, people. But I don't feel like our Democratic elected officials, aside from AOC and Jasmine Crockett, um, and Maxwell Frost, are taking this seriously. Um, so again, good times on a Monday.